long before the first human footprint was ever pressed into the soil. The valley was wild, untamed, and completely quiet. A massive river carrying the purest water from the snowy peaks roared down from the tall mountains. As it flowed into the heart of the valley, the water split perfectly down the middle, wrapping around a beautiful lush green island. The island was a paradise of thick wild plants and rich soil. From there, the two sides of the river met again and fell off a steep cliff, crashing down into a deep dark cave that seemed to go on forever. In those early days, there were no borders, no fighting, and no flags. There was only the sound of rushing water echoing against the ancient rocks and the peaceful stillness of the world untouched by man. Hundreds of years later, the first people arrived in the valley. They saw the rushing water and the rich soil, and they knew they had found a home. Carefully, over many years, they shaped the wild island into beautiful stepping farm fields. These terraces looked like giant green stairs climbing out of the water. Along the edges of the river, they built sturdy houses out of smooth mud brick. As the community grew, they naturally split into groups and raised great cloth flags on tall wooden poles to show exactly where they lived. The two broader communities in the lower valley, one on the left bank and one on the right, flew the exact same flag, a crisp white flag with a bright bold green circle in the center. High up on the mountain near the very top of the waterfalls, a third group of mountain men built their own homes overlooking the valley. They wanted to stand apart, so they flew a different flag, a solid red flag with two sharp white stripes. For a time, there was peace. The wind blew, the water flowed, and the flags snapped proudly in the mountain breeze. 1,000 years passed, and the world changed completely. The old mud brick houses were gone. In their place stood tall, towering metal buildings that gleamed in the twilight. The air outside had become too harsh and thin to breathe naturally. Now, whenever people stepped out of their heavy steel doors, they had to wear fitted space suits with bright, glowing oxygen backpacks to keep their air safe. A man stood on his high metal balcony on the left side of the river, looking out over the valley. The farm on the central island was no longer just dirt and plants. It was now part of the Max Farm 100 project. The stepped terraces were lined with glowing neon blue water channels. Large, silent farming robots worked the fields day and night, planting and harvesting under the glow of heavy artificial light. Even with all these incredible leaps into the future, the people still lived in the exact same places. The two broader communities still lived in their massive metal cities on the left and right sides of the river. Above their cities, giant holographic flags projected into the night sky, still showing their proud white banners with the bright green circle. They were a family, joined together by the water that flowed between them. To protect the precious soil of the island, the brothers had a very strict ancient rule. The left side of the valley would farm the island for exactly 7 years. They would use their robots to harvest all the crops, carefully filling up their towering metal storage silos with enough food to last. Then, on the last day of the 7th year, they would completely step away. They would shut down their bridges and leave the land totally alone for 3 full years. This gave the soil time to heal, rest, and regain its strength. Once those 3 years of healing were over, it was the right side's turn. The right side of the river would cross over and farm the land for the next 7 years. When the time was up, they would step away, giving the island another 3 years to recuperate. 7 years of work, 3 years of rest. It was a perfect, harmonious balance. But over time, a quiet poison called greed entered into their hearts. Both brothers started looking across the river with jealous eyes. They began trying to cheat the cycle. The left side would try to stay on the farm for a few extra months into the healing years, hoping to hoard more food. In revenge, the right side would block the water pumps when it was their turn to rest. They stopped sharing. They stopped talking. They treated each other like bitter enemies instead of brothers. High up on the mountain ridge, the mountain men watched the brothers fight. From their cold, still fortress, they looked down at the glowing island farm with hungry eyes. They wanted that beautiful, fertile land all to themselves. So the leader of the mountain men came up with an evil, cunning plan. There was a very old story, terrifying story told in the valley. It was a legend about a scary, massive, shape-shifting being with crushing strength that used to live in the deep, dark cave under the farm. Everyone believed the being had been destroyed hundreds of years ago, but one evening, the leader of the mountain men sent a flashing digital message down to the broader communities, warning, our scanners are picking up heavy movement in the cave. That being is back. To make this terrible, he lied. The lie looked completely real. The mountain leader took his best soldier and dressed them in a heavy, hyper-realistic, shape-shifting suit designed to mimic the terrifying creature from the legends. Under the cover of darkness, he sent this fake being down to the island farm. The fake being began smashing the expensive farming robots. The robots, programmed to protect the fields, bravely ran directly toward the terrifying shadow to stop it, but they were no match for the heavy armor. Sparks flew into the air and metal crunched out as the fake being destroyed them one by one. The mountain leader watched from his high window and smiled. He hoped the brothers would be so scared of the being and so busy fighting with each other that they would recall their surviving robots, pack up their cities, and run away from the valley forever. But the mountain men did not know one massive world-changing secret. Hundreds of years ago, the original being wasn't chased away by soldiers with swords. It was defeated by a powerful ancient machine floating high up in space, hidden among the stars. This space satellite could shoot a giant, devastating beam of pure light straight down to Earth. To make sure no one ever used this terrifying weapon for evil or by mistake, the ancestors of the valley split the controls perfectly in half. To fire the space weapon, the leader of the left brother community and the leader of the right brother community had to turn their digital keys at the exact same second. The fake being attacked the farm night after night, smashing more robots and tearing up the glowing neon water channels. After the fifth attack, the leader of the mountain men sent another urgent warning to the brothers. He sat back in his chair, totally confident that his plan was about to work. Down in the valley, the brothers were completely frustrated. Their food was in danger, their robots were broken, and their patience was gone. They felt they had only two choices left: abandon their ancestral home and run, or risk their lives trying to fight a threat that they couldn't understand. But instead of running away, They chose to do something harder. They chose to fight. They chose to stop fighting each other. Seeing their beautiful land in so much danger, the leaders of the two brother communities opened a glowing high-definition video call. For the first time in years, they looked at each other face to face through the screens. In that tense moment, they finally put their foolish pride away. The first brother apologized for being greedy and disrespecting the land's time to heal. The second brother apologized for blocking the water. They forgave each other. They remembered the blood in their veins. They remembered that they were family. Together, staring into the screens, they recited their family motto, a special, sacred promise that only their family shared. He who digs a pit for others will fall into it himself. True wealth is not hiding your food, but sharing the river as a family. United once again, the two leaders walked with purpose to their glowing control panels. They placed their hand on the heavy launch keys. "On my mark," the first brother said, his voice steady through the video screen. "Together," the second brother replied. 3, 2, 1. They turned their keys. Instantly, high up in the cold, dark silence of space, the silver satellite powered on. It quickly locked its targeting sensors onto the fake beam that was currently tearing up the farm below. A blinding, brilliant pillar of white light shot down from the starry sky. It cut through the toxic clouds and hit the target directly with a massive roaring boom that shook the very foundation of the mountains. When the bright light faded and the thick smoke finally cleared, the brothers sent their fastest robots rolling back into the fields to check the damage. The robots scanned the area. Near the edge of the river, one of the mechanical arms reached down and picked up a torn piece of heavy fabric from the scary suit. The robot held it up to its camera, transmitting the image back to the brothers. Printed clearly on the scorched cloth was a picture they all recognized. 2 white stripes on a red background. The robots then scanned the biological remains left inside the broken armor. The computer system beeped, flashing a DNA match on the brothers' screens. It was not a magical, shape-shifting, scary being from the cave at all. It was just a man, a soldier sent from the mountain men up the river. The brothers stared at their screens, realizing the terrible trick that had been played on them. They could have easily turned the space weapon toward the top of the mountain. They could have started a massive war, but instead, they made a much smarter, colder choice. They stood together, shoulder to shoulder, in spirit, and sent one final permanent message to the mountain men. They agreed to never speak to them, never trade food with them, and never offer them any help ever again. The communication lines were permanently severed. The greedy mountain men were completely cut off, left to survive all alone on their cold, isolated peak. Down in the valley, the brothers went back to honoring the cycle of the harvest. They passed the farm back and forth, always ensuring the land got its 3 full years of rest. Just as their ancestors intended, their bond was now unbreakable, forged by fire and forgiveness. And from that day on, as the glowing water channels flowed and the robots quietly worked the neon fields, they always remembered to live by the wise words of the river.